We have a wire with an insulated coating. Now we need to have some way to connect it to something else. When you think about it, there are only two real ways to attach copper wires to something: clamp it or solder it. In this program, I'll show you how to prepare the wire and make those connections. Insulation keeps the electricity within the wire. To make a connection, some of the insulation must be removed. There are plenty of wire working tools on the market, and nearly all of them have some means of cutting a ring around the insulation. The tool can then be used to pull the cut piece off. Many connections are made just by twisting the bare wire around a stud or a piece of metal and securing it with a nut or a bolt. It's pretty common for switches in buildings, but it's not the best way to make a connection on a piece of heavy equipment. Wires in a building are commonly inserted into some type of clamping device, such as seen on these breakers and bus bars. The same sort of connection is seen in this rock drill. This is a clean way to do wiring, but what if you just want to join one wire to another? Twisting two strands together and wrapping them with electrical tape is a method of joining wires. It is a fast way of making connection, but it's not necessarily the best way for a long-term connection. Wire nuts are another variation on this method, but they're generally used on solid wires in stationary structures. They're not usually used on heavy equipment. The next example of a connection is the use of lead solder. Rosin core solder is used along with a heat source, such as an electric soldering iron or pencil. Two wires can be twisted together and then the solder melted onto the wires for a solid connection. Some type of insulation, usually electrical tape or shrink tubing, is then used to insulate and protect the joint. Crimp fittings are the most common means of attaching connectors to wires. A terminal connector is sized to slip over the approximate diameter of the wire, and then some type of tool is used to crush or crimp that terminal end onto the wire. The insulation on the terminal end is color-coded to the size of the wire that it was meant for. The insulated terminals have a plastic or vinyl sleeve over the wire connection site, and the metal inside is crimped with little damage to the insulation. This tool has colored dots that correspond to the color and size of the wire and connector. The connector ends come in a wide variety of sizes and shapes and types of uses. Wires can be joined together permanently with butt connectors or in a temporary fashion with spade or bullet connectors. Terminal ends can be in any fashion and size of rings, hooks, forks, spades, and so on. Cable and terminal ends that are 1/0 and 2/0 are typically used for battery terminals and big power connections. Here I'm building a cable that has a 1/2 inch lug on one side and a 3/8 inch lug on the other. I'm using a tool specialized for cutting copper cable. Next, I'll measure and remove enough insulation so the cable just reaches the bottom of the terminal socket. Specialized crimping tools are available but expensive, and I don't have one. In this case, I've made the crimping die out of grade 8 5/8 inch nut. I cut the nut in half and then used a grinder on each end to get my desired amount of compression. I lock the terminal and die in a vise. Insert the cable in the end and clamp it hard with the vise. Once I get that done, I put the die and cable on something solid and then hit them with a hammer to finish the crimp. I'll finish the assembly by using electrical tape on both ends to seal the terminal ends to the cable itself. Battery terminals are generally harder to crimp, so in the field I use solder most of the time. The terminal end is held in something like a vise and heated with a torch. Here I'm using an acetylene torch, but I usually use a propane torch in the field. Solder is melted into the terminal socket connection, taking care so that the flux and solder coat the sides of the terminal. When I have about half of the terminal filled with solder, I line up the cable in its natural bend, and while still holding the heat on the terminal, I'll quickly push it into the socket. When cooled, the connection is then covered with electrical tape to seal off the ends. Harness connectors allow multiple wire connections at a central point using a minimal amount of area. There are many different types of connectors, but all have some similarities. We'll look at those in the next video. See you then.